Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Dan Roy. I am an entrepreneur in residence for the McCoy College of Business here at Texas State, and I really have the great privilege of working with Dr. Shannon Wygum as a co-leader of the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And for those of you who may not know Shannon Wygum, she is an associate professor in biology and faculty for the materials, science, engineering, and commercialization program here at Texas State. So Shannon, great to be with you and welcome. I know we have an exciting afternoon planned, so great to have you with us.
Thanks, it's great to be here, and thank you everybody for joining us.
So over the course of the Big Ideas Week, we've seen a lot about faculty research and the successes, and hopefully you were able to join us this morning for our session to discuss kind of the evolution of the big idea around innovation and entrepreneurship and its evolution into an actual center. We had a great opportunity to visit with some entrepreneurs this morning, and we talked about the impact and the potential that a university level center can have. This afternoon is really exciting for me, and I know for Shannon, because it actually gives us the opportunity to kind of show to the world the impact that it actually has on our faculty and on our students, and how we touch and impact various companies through the ecosystem at Texas State. So we're going to talk about a range of programs. We'll talk about programs that start from kind of what we call foundational programs, kind of the very beginning of thinking about entrepreneurship. And we'll take that all the way through examples that go deeper into learning, and then also take companies much closer to launch and even some companies to scale. So it's going to be an exciting afternoon. You can see we've got a great group of people and presenters that are going to join us today, and I really, without further ado, we have a lot to cover, and I want to get to this. So again, welcome, and I really want to begin by welcoming Peter Angolo, and Peter is joining us today. Peter is a senior. He is a theater major. He's focused on performance and production here at Texas State. He recently joined us for a program that we call Ignite. And Ignite, as I mentioned, is one of our early stage kind of foundational programs to try to reach students that may not otherwise have access to entrepreneurial practice and learning. And so, Peter, welcome. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you so very much, Dan. It's great to be here.
Yeah, and so tell me a little about why you even chose to participate in the program Ignite.
Well, Ignite was an opportunity for me to merge my theatrical background to a business world. And it's always interesting to see where these disciplines meet. And that is what Ignite did for me.
And you had, I'm trying to recall if you actually came in with an idea, or did you develop the idea during the program?
Originally, whenever I was coming into the program, I didn't know what to expect. When the question arose, what idea would you want to chase after as an entrepreneur? I went deep into what my background currently is, which is theater. Rely on your background and you can't really fail that much, really. So the idea was developed during Ignite, and yeah.
And I believe, if I recall, that you spent the weekend with us. We were joined by entrepreneurs, we were joined by faculty, and so we really started with an idea and helped you and teams move those ideas kind of along a pathway to really look at viability and how would I do this if I actually wanted to attempt that. And I think you called your idea Unith, if I'm not mistaken.
We ended up calling the idea Unithe.
Unithe, okay.
Yes. It was a joint decision from the team that had formed and is staying together from Ignite. We decided to call it Unite because we were trying to make theater universally accessible. And we just ran with it. and developed it more, basically trying to answer the question of right now, theater isn't, you can't really access live theater. That was the big question. We focused that question to become, why can't we access live theater right now via the platforms that we have? And that is the question that we attempted to answer.
And you worked with a team that included, if I'm not mistaken, Nicole and Michelle. Do you want to talk a little bit about your teammates and what they brought to the experience?
Oh, yes. Nicole Tural-Wath, she is an incredible member of the team in that she brings a business mind to it, as business is her major. She focuses us, and she is really a vital driving force on it. Her ambition is admirable. And then we have Michelle Gallahan, and she is the balancing force between Michelle and I, in that she is a double major. She's a major in business and studio art. And she balances us in that where Nicole is driven and ambitious and sees everything that we could bring in. I like to dream about the possibilities of it, and I bring in what if we did this, and what if this program could go off the hinges completely? And she said, okay, I see where Nicole is, and I see where you are. Here's the middle ground, and this is how we need to proceed.
And so in response to kind of the current circumstance, you mentioned, COVID, the pandemic, not being able to access live theater, and then attempting to come up with a solution that was workable, that met clearly a market need. Do you continue, you and your team, to work on solving the problem, or where are you today?
Today, as I recently attended a conference. It was based from, what was it called? I forget the name of the project, but there are people who are developing augmented reality and how it can benefit choreographers and artists, in that this program allows you to fabricate a background, a virtual background. And it was exciting to me because it seemed very timely that my team was trying to develop this idea, and there are people who are willing to put their codes on the open market and say that, hey, look at our code. If you have something to add to it, add to it. And I think that my team right now, the way that we are thinking, could definitely be of help to them and of use to them, because we are continuing to develop Unithe.
So if we have some success, the next time that we hear from you and your team, we'll be watching a live theater performance in a way the world has never seen before.
That is hopefully the goal. That is the intention. Let's say that it succeeds in the way that we imagine it. It won't just stop at theater. The issue that we are facing, the question that we are trying to answer mainly is, how do we stop the lag effect that is between platforms such as Zoom, platforms such as Facebook? It affects other platforms such as Twitch as well. And if you were to look into, I guess, the real world away from these platforms, you have that lag effect affecting news anchors whenever they're doing studio to on-site projects or interviews or anything like that. If this project succeeds in the magnitude that we are hoping that it will be, it could affect and change that aspect as well.
And hearing you say that, Peter, I know it gives Shannon great pride and me great pride to know that one of our central objectives is to broaden the reach of entrepreneurship and learning across campus. And so to see you and your team, and you as a theater major and a business major and others coming together to pursue a very real dream and idea. And so we're thrilled with where you're going, and we look forward to what's to come. So I want to say thank you for your time this morning. I appreciate, or this afternoon rather, certainly appreciate it. It's exciting to learn, and we wish you the best of luck as you move forward.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And so we mentioned that, Peter took advantage of one of the very foundational programs that we offer, and that was a program called Ignite. Again, introductory in nature, but clearly can have a real impact on putting people on a trajectory towards launching a brand new idea into the world. Our next guest is Leslie Harris, and Leslie is going to join us here. She should come in. There she comes, Leslie. Great to see you and welcome. Leslie is a graduate student in communication design here at Texas State. She has participated in a number of programs and activities and events here at Texas State. And I'm really excited, Leslie, for you to have a chance to share a little bit about an idea that you came up with. And you maybe can walk us through that process. I think it may have begun early on in a class and continued throughout a few programs. So you have an idea called Booked. Could you share a little bit about that with us?
Yeah, so Booked is an appointment booking system that helps stylists that specialize in African American hair manage their schedules and payments, while also helping Black women find people that can actually do their hair efficiently. And honestly, this idea was born out of frustration. I moved to Austin in 2016, and I quickly figured out it was going to be difficult for me to find someone that could do my hair. So when I took design entrepreneurship at Texas State in 2018, I thought it would be a nice design problem to solve that could help other Black women in predominantly white cities find people that can cater to their hair types and textures.
And you chose to kind of, I guess, pursue the idea a little further. And one of the programs you joined, we kind of refer to as Deep Dive, which is an opportunity for students who have a business idea to kind of really explore and drill into its viability. And then I think you also moved along the path to a program called New Ventures and took advantage of that. I wonder if you could share a little bit about how those two programs may have helped you develop your idea.
Yeah. So as a professional designer, a lot of my research skills follow the basic design thinking methodologies. And as a student in the classroom setting, sometimes the projects are so fast for the sake of the semester that you don't really get a chance to dig into these problems really deeply and solve them from a holistic point of view. So for me, I'm really good at solving problems, but not so good at understanding how I'm actually going to make money from my solutions. So the mentors at both Deep Dive and New Ventures really helped me to understand how I can monetize my product, but also create a business model that's sustainable for the long term. They've also taught me how to move outside of my normal design thinking methodologies into various other methods to help me look at business problems from multiple perspectives, which for a student and as a professional, I think is really incomparable.
And can you tell me a little bit about where is Booked today?
Well, currently Booked is on pause, and it's mainly because I am in the process of writing my thesis and graduating next spring. But in preparation for Booked and a bunch of other ideas that I have, I'm in the process of forming an LLC to protect those ideas and also the research that I conduct to inform those ideas.
Fantastic. Well, I want to wish you obviously the best of luck on your thesis. And certainly priority number one as a graduate student is that. But thrilled for you to have taken the time to join us this afternoon, share a little bit about your fantastic idea and really your learning experience as you move through the process. So we're excited for you and best of luck to you as you move forward.
Thanks, Dan.
Absolutely. Shannon, I'm going to invite you to kind of join in.
Hello again. Oh, thank you so much. It's really great to see those student programs and advancing their ideas and their ability to be able to kind of push themselves a little bit forward and think a little bit outside of the box of their normal locations and curriculums. So it's my pleasure today to welcome and to bring in Dr. Jenny Yoshimoto. She is the founder of Terra Solar. Jenny?
Hi.
There you are. Hello.
Hi.
I know we are having an exciting day for you.
Exciting.
So before we get to actually what you're doing, why don't you just go ahead and jump in? Tell us what you're doing.
Sure. We are doing a do-it-yourself solar kit that an average person would be able to assemble in under 3 hours. So the goal is to really increase the accessibility of solar to more people and locations. This could be a product for rural use, like for a well water pump, but also for tiny homes, cabins, military use, and disaster recovery. So basically it's a solar canopy, a 4-legged structure. It's really conceptually easy for people to imagine and be able to put up themselves. So right now we have our awesome Texas State Senior Engineering Design team here. We are disassembling here in San Antonio at my prototyper's office, and we're moving to Texas State's awesome Star Park, where it will be located there for several months. So it's super exciting. So right now they're working on disassembling, and they're also learning about the process. So their goals for this year are going to be really looking at the ease of assembly, how to make it a super simple assembly for the customer, and also really easy to be manufactured and packaged.
That's fantastic. You couldn't get any more hands-on in action than what you're doing right now. You and your company recently participated in the New Ventures competition, as well as NSF I-Corps. Can you talk a little bit about how those programs have helped you and your company and get to the point where you are now and push your goals forward?
Yes, they have both been tremendously helpful. I'll start with I-Corps. That was done at Texas State, and I-Corps is a National Science Foundation sponsored program that is designed to help startups and established companies really dig into customer discovery, to learn how to talk to their customers in a way that they're not leading questions. So you can really tell what the customer's pains are. So instead of saying like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had a do-it-yourself solar kit? It's like, have you ever considered solar? You know, what are the pains? You know, what is holding you back? Things like that. So it's really about listening and learning how to talk to your customers that way. So through that, we were able to identify really cool new customer segments. We found that people who are highly interested in our products include solar installers, which was a little bit surprising because, you know, you'd think that they already have an established product, but they have so many customers that are missing out on solar for various reasons, mostly rooftop problems. You've got too much shade. You don't know if you're going to live there for the next 10 years. It's a big commitment, a big hassle. So to have a product that they can present to their customers to say, oh, we've got this simple system that either the customer or the solar installer could put up, boom, no permitting, it's off grid, that would really increase their customer base. So that was awesome. And we also went to a farmer's market. Oh, excuse me, sorry.
That's okay.
Somebody's calling in. Oh, this is the, thank you. Also went to a farmer's market and found that a lot of rural residents are looking for an off-grid solution just like this, and that they were already thinking of this type of a solution for their well water pumps. So something where it would be prohibitively expensive to get your electricities way out into your field wherever you want it. This would be an ideal solution for that. So I-Corps was super awesome in helping our team figure that out. And then that was performed in the middle of a Department of Energy competition, where we started building our prototype, and now we're able to advance it thanks to the Texas State Ventures 2020 program. So that was a pitch competition, and we are so thankful for that. So that is allowing us to develop with our entrepreneur in residence, Sean Bald. He's able to counsel us and help us propel our product forward, set milestones, and really achieve those. We also were given space at Star Park, and that has been tremendous, not just for the office space, but they're like, yeah, bring your prototype out here, we'll help you. It's a great opportunity, as well as funding, of course, that they are providing so we can continue developing. So the goal is that this cool design team here, during the first fall semester, they're going to really dig into different design ideas and be doing CAD and but I think possibly 3D printing this semester. And then next semester, we'll use a lot of the funds for building a large scale prototype.
That's fantastic, and congratulations. Yes, you were one of the big winners at New Ventures that really not only gives about a $20,000 cash prize, but one of the other things that we're most proud of is being able to offer companies access to our EIRs as a mentorship network, as well as space at the incubator Star Park. And I think you've even taken more, jumped in, more involvement with senior design and engineering. That's fantastic to see, and that's what we really, really liked, to be able to have a close relationship and interaction with the companies that are involved in these types of projects. So tell us, other than getting your prototype up and going today out at Star Park, what are the next steps for you in Terra Solar?
Yes, next steps are working with my cool design team for the engineering to increase the ease of assembly. While they're working on that, and we'll work closely, I plan to continue doing pitch competitions and applying for grants. So I found that that is really key, not just to getting funding, but to getting the name out there and making more network connections. So it's actual product development as well as business development.
I think you also mentioned before when we were talking about adding some remote monitoring capabilities into the solar panels to be able to measure energy capture and even conversion, almost integration with an IoT or Internet of Things. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, sorry, there's some roosters out here. I don't know if you can hear that.
I heard one of them in the background, and I couldn't figure out if it was coming from my neighborhood or from you.
It's a wild place. So yes, we are definitely interested in remote monitoring. We decided this past week that we would wait on installing the remote monitoring on this system. So we'll wait for further development of the canopy structure, because we want to be choosing the right system for the right design. But we have looked into that, and there are different systems that would really be simple to install and, like you said, provide monitoring through IoT.
Fantastic. Well, I will let you go and let you get back to business. Please drive safely up to San Marcos. We can't wait to have you out at Star Park, and super excited for the great things that we know Terra Solar and you are going to be able to do and to accomplish. So we wish you all of the best. Thank you for joining us today amongst everything else that you've got going on.
No, thank you for this opportunity. And as always, I'm so grateful for the I-Corps opportunity and the Ventures opportunity. They are tremendous. Like we literally wouldn't be here without Texas State's help, and it's been wonderful.
That's great to hear. That's why we do it. So
thank you.
I appreciate it. We'll see you later.
And I close with a rooster, and there are hands-on projects and there are hands-on projects. And so how exciting it is to see that progress. We're super excited for that. I want to welcome our next guest, if I may, and that's Quinn Robichaud. And Quinn is going to be unmasking here in a moment, I hope. And I'll say a great hello to Quinn. And Quinn is a recent graduate from Texas State. I think he earned a BS in biochemistry and is involved in really an exciting project. And one of the great things about being in a university setting is that you have access really to extraordinary research faculty and scientists. And Quinn, you were working with one of our scientists and a team to bring a brand new technology to market. Can you tell us a little bit about your idea?
Yeah, sure. Just real quickly, Dan, Shannon, thank you all you guys at Big Ideas Weeks. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys. So what you're saying, I was lucky enough to join a Texas State student and faculty-led startup called NanoCare this year. And all started around 6-7 years ago. Dr. Gary Beal, a Regents and endowed professor at Texas State University, invented a hydrogen peroxide gel along with Dr. David Koch, a research professor at Lamar University. And over the years, they decided to give this out to hundreds of family and friends. And everyone seemed to report the same kind of effects, right? Some accelerated healing and also an inhibition of the painful inflammation that you see when you scrape your knee or get a paper cut. And so after seeing these miraculous effects, they decided to start a company around it. And so that's what we did. At NanoCare is the company name again. And we decided to launch at the Rice Business Plan competition, where we're trying to raise capital. And right now we're in the process of getting it approved with the FDA and starting clinical trials. So it's been an honor just to kind of be a part of that. And I was lucky enough to be working in Dr. Beal's research lab and be involved. So.
And you mentioned the Rice Business Plan competition. You know, there are a lot of competitions, all around the country that go on that are available for students. Certainly the Rice Business Plan competition is one of the most high-profile competitions that you can find. And you mentioned the notion that, when you're trying to bring a new technology to market, then obviously access to capital is a huge part of that and a very important part of that. Texas State has been extremely successful in getting teams into that competition to compete. And you mentioned you recently did that and won 5th place in the elevator pitch competition. And I believe more than $10,000 in prize money. So we've had a rooster on with us earlier. Now we're going to attempt another technological feat and see if we can actually play for the audience your Rice Business Plan 1-minute pitch. So if this works, it'll be extraordinary. If not, we'll talk about it.
Sure.
Have you ever turned a page and paper cut? Unfortunately, wounds can be much more severe and chronic than a paper cut, especially after surgery. But even worse, they can take 2 to 3 weeks to heal, leaving them open to antibiotic-resistant infection. My name is Quinn Robichaux, COO of our company, NanoCare, where we've revolutionized wound care for hospitals and veterinarians with our miraculous new product, Excel Gel. This peroxide-based gel contains our proprietary nanotechnology, which inhibits inflammation, keeps the wound sterile, and significantly accelerates healing. With FDA human testing in our future, Excel Gel is currently being animal tested and then can immediately be applied after every pet neutering in the country. Our team is looking for your help to attack the $16 billion antiseptic market and turn surgical wounds, bed sores, and burns into nothing more than a paper cut.
Unbelievable. And so there's no question in my mind why you were able to take 5th place in that competition. Quinn, tell me a little bit about that experience. I mean, that has to be fairly remarkable.
Yeah, what a learning experience, from the very moment where the team met at Grin's restaurant and just kind of talked about this idea to right now where we're starting clinical trials. It's been amazing just to learn and compete in such a prestigious event like Rice Business Plan competition this year. So it's truly an honor.
And I know there were a number of faculty and others that support that effort, kind of getting everything ready for the competition. And then what's it like to actually compete against the likes of, MIT and Stanford as you go into those types of competitions?
Yeah, so our team in NanoCare, we're all pretty competitive. So we really wanted to go against the best and going at, like you said, MIT, Harvard, Yale, Cambridge was there. It was really cool to go up against those teams, but it was also really eye-opening to see when you got there and you competed and you did your presentation, you kind of looked and you compared and you're like, we did as well as them or sometimes even better. And so, again, it was really eye-opening to see that, you don't really have to go to an Ivy League school to have entrepreneurial success, especially if you go to school like Texas State, where the entrepreneurial network is just so supportive and helpful in those kinds of things.
So Texas State has, if I'm not mistaken, Texas State has managed to have at least one team, if not more, for the last 6 years in a row. I'm curious, you talked a little bit about it there, but why do you think that is? Why are Texas State teams so good in these types of settings?
Yeah, so when I first met Dr. Gary Beal, our CEO, who's led all these teams, led the teams the past 7 years. He gave us this advice, 3 key important things of any successful startup. And the first is the team. The second is also the team. And the third is, of course, the team. And so I think that every year Texas State puts forward an excellent team of entrepreneurial, veteran entrepreneurs, scientific innovators, and marketing specialists to really outperform the competition. And this year, we presented the same reputation. We're lucky enough to have Shubha Mala, NanoCare's R&D manager. She's working on her PhD at the MSEC program at Texas State. We also had our business savvy chief marketing and sales officer, Stephen Michigemba. But also every one of these years that you mentioned, there's been a professor named Claudia Rochman, and she helps create the brand for all of these teams and also recruits a student from the MFA school that designs the brand from the logo to the presentation. And they also help us a lot on acting like true professionals at these kind of events, which is really how we separate ourselves from the competition.
And I love the fact you reference, and we talked quite a bit about this in the morning session, about the unique composition of Texas State, the collaborative nature. You know, one of our primary goals is to kind of transcend discipline, to recognize that the inclusion of the specialists from art and design and theater and the rest can really go towards making a compelling team that can make a real impact in the world. So I'm thrilled to hear you talk about, you know, that team particularly, and Claudia Rochman, of course, has been unbelievable in that regard. So I know that was an exciting experience for you as well. So listen, Quinn, it's been absolutely fantastic to have you with us. I'm grateful for your time. Super excited about your effort. In fact, you're a shining example because you've pursued an idea, and if I'm not mistaken, you've now turned that into an actual paying job. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we just got our first initial investment of $200,000, which has really lifted the company off the ground. And most of that's going to go toward the clinical trials and proving what we're saying, right? So we can get this product out to everyone who needs it, from people to pets, to really help people heal, which is our company goal. So I'm glad for the opportunity, and that's what I'm working toward every day now. So.
Well, you keep us posted on the success, and hopefully we'll be in Rite Aid or wherever buying your product very, very soon. So thank you again for joining us.
Sure. Good to be with you all. Thanks.
We are so proud of Quinn and all of the teams that have participated in the Rice Business Plan competition. And it truly does show that Texas State and our students are competitive and ultra competitive on a national scale. So again, we're so proud of all of them. It's my pleasure to welcome our next guest, Dr. Rafael Travis, who is an associate professor in the School of Social Work here at Texas State. Hi, Dr. Travis. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Excited to be here to talk about our work.
I understand you've teamed up with another faculty member, Ray Cordero, to create Beats and Lyrics, which promotes education and positive mental health. We may have Ray on the line. Do we have him?
He is here, is in attendance. He can join if you like.
I think we're trying to get him in. I'm not sure. We may be having some technical difficulties. Why don't we go ahead and why don't you tell us a little bit about your team and the history of your partnership while we try to get him in?
Sure. We have the good fortune of working with the Office of Student Diversity and Inclusion really since my beginning time here at Texas State, starting in 2007, and really working a lot with students in efforts to promote mental health, well-being, strengthen their connection to their academics here at Texas State. And that really culminated in the work with Ray Cordero and Upward Bound and their emphasis on helping high school students transition into higher education, focusing on academics, but also focusing on social and emotional well-being. And that has really been a great partnership. And really at the anchor of that is looking at how art can contribute to both academic growth as well as mental health, positive mental health.
Fantastic. I think that you brought a little video to be able to share with us. Let's see if we can cue that up.
I was in the lyrics team, And within that lyrics team, I was able to express myself creatively through words and then through rhyme within those words. It was really fun for sure. I'm going to see if I can try doing it again within my spare time.
And when I started with music, it's actually showed me like a path to go. I could actually have the confidence to express what I want to say. You know, I'll always use music to help me relieve my stress. I put my earphones in, I close my eyes, and when I listen to certain artists sing their songs, they always send me a message.
That's an amazing, powerful connection between music and well-being. That's one, that well-being component and that benefit beyond a financial compensation is a major tenet of social entrepreneurs. Can you tell me what being a social entrepreneur means to you?
Well, a lot of this stems out of my research in thinking about how we can best invest in the health and well-being of young people. It's not just about preventing the bad stuff that we don't want to see, but it's about what do we want to see and how do we create programs and activities and strategies to promote those good things. And our partnership with Upward Bound has really been anchored in that. And so at the end of the day, and thinking of creative arts as a pathway to those good things is really what anchors our work. And we've wanted to, not just focus on the young people that matriculate to the program, but it's also about the collaborations. We work with teaching artists, we work with other disciplines. And so it's just as much community as it is the individuals that go through the program. And so it's not just about, as much as it is about reducing depression and increasing confidence and things like that, it's about enriching the fabric, kind of the social infrastructure around that can be that support for the community as a whole. We work with students at Texas State as well. So they're able to role model and be mentors to students that go through. And we also focus on non-traditional pathways to employment. So entrepreneurship in its kind of purest form is seen as an alternative vehicle than the traditional academic path that we still stress and promote as well. And so the program really has a lot of outcomes that extend beyond what you would traditionally think of as a youth program. And, we hope to be able to replicate that in other settings with other organizations that have that high school university partnership that are interested in the types of outreach and opportunities for students that you might not find in the traditional classroom. And so while we are definitely anchored in San Marcos and Central Texas, we're hoping that this can be something that expands nationally and potentially even beyond with that same level of commitment to academic growth and social and emotional growth and that commitment to community well-being overall.
That's a nice connection in terms of when you say expanding it, it is really about scale. And that's something that I think that looking at even research and unique projects through an entrepreneurial mindset or an entrepreneurial lens offers the ability to be able to expand and scale projects on a whole new level. So that's really great to hear. I know that Beats and Lyrics was supposed to be a highlight of the South by Southwest Innovation Lab this year, and unfortunately, COVID-19 hit, South by was canceled, and everybody was really forced to make an unplanned pivot. How has that impacted you and Beats and Lyrics?
Yes, us, like everybody else, was forced to rethink basically everything that we do related to the program. Now, at the same time, while most of our work was anchored in the physical space in the music lab on campus at Texas State, we always had a vision for thinking about how might we bring this to the broader community. And one was through a vehicle-based lab. But we also had our eyes on a web-based platform to take this into more of a virtual space. And so those things were on the radar in our timeline, but COVID forced us to pick up the pace, for lack of a better word, with that timeline. And so we were forced to pivot into that software virtual-based programming pretty much immediately. And we were very successful. We were able to have a full 6-week program over the summer through a great platform called Soundtrap. And we were also able to hold our annual mixtape camp, which is a 1-week camp geared around creative music development and mental health. And we were able to do that virtually as well. And so we're still analyzing the data. I mean, it was an empirical test, right? How does this work in this new format and with this new platform? So we're still analyzing the data, but from a face validity standpoint, it went extraordinarily well. We got great feedback, and the brilliance and creativity of the students that we work with were just as much on display in a virtual capacity as they are in real life. So can't wait to look at the results, but we're very excited about those possibilities and being able to move to all of our various goals about mobile delivery, virtual delivery, and the like.
That almost echoes what several of our panelists in the morning session said when every crisis actually opens up a wealth of opportunity. And it's those who jump into those opportunities and into those spaces that really, truly can make a difference. I think we have been able to get Ray onto the line, and I will ask him if he would like to jump in here and tell us any potential lessons that he's learned from these experiences and really how it may have helped shape either his own or Beats and Lyrics trajectory. We have just a few moments.
Hello.
There you
yes,
are.
everybody
Hi,
can
Ray.
hear me. Hello,
Yes,
it's
of
nice
course.
to see you, Shannon. Dr. Travis,
Good to
of
see
course.
you.
Just been listening to Dr. Travis give that excellent synopsis of what we've been doing. I think the only thing that I would add is when we look at what we decided to do in the work that we've done, it's individuals at this university like Dr. Travis that continue to push our innovation needle forward. I think that's really important. What we saw was a culmination of two things. So Dr. Travis has been doing this work extensively, as he shared, in a number of different capacities for student support. I think that in itself is its own innovative model that can be studied and learned from because of all of the impact that he's had with different student groups, because of the dynamics that he's focused on in several different lenses. There's another part that comes into play with this, and that's Texas State being the birthplace of TRIO programs. And so with LBJ signing the Higher Education Act of 1965 here on campus on November 8th, with TRIO alumni being in the millions, literally since 65, funded at over $1.1 billion nationally, with a bipartisan support, in both the House and the Senate. TRIO having that dynamic and Texas State owning that. This was a perfect culmination and idea and an example of something that can be put together. I think it's important to understand the fluidity of the model Dr. Travis has put together and spearheaded. It's got several different capacities. This initially, as he had shared it, started with a STEM initiative, something that we could look at as far as there. And so when we talk, even when we were talking about the COVID pivot, I think one of the things that Dr. Travis is a master in is pivoting. I think that he can take a situation in terms of what we have and start to change the lens and the focus so that it stays new, it stays fresh, and it's a great idea for everyone. This work was presented last week. So as we talked about South by, we were really bummed about that because we had secured the Innovation Lab presentation. We had also secured a TED Ed talk at South by Southwest that was coming in. We had so much stuff lined up, but good only gets in the way of great, right? We're looking forward to this next year. We just presented at our national conference this work with Dr. Travis, myself, and another partner, Edward Castillo. We did 2 workshops, one that was to around 75 participants, the other that was 250 folks from across the country. And we have a lot of interest generated. So the only thing I want to leave with is, one of the things I've been sharing with programs is this idea is invested in its currency lies with people. From the students that we invest in, but also from Dr. Travis. And that's something that I've reiterated to other programs. You know, can we replicate this? Can we do this at other places? The answer is absolutely yes, you can. With somebody like Dr. Travis spearheading that, that's going to give us our success rate to get that done. And so that's what we're working on now. So I'd like to say to Dr. Travis, thank you so much. And that is it. I'm a man of too many words, so I'll stop there. But thank you for letting me chime in.
Of course.
And a great partnership.
Thank you both. We really do appreciate it. This is amazing and wonderful work. It's great to hear about it. And also, one of the things that I think by having a Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship can help make some of those connections that you don't necessarily always see as, that are as apparent, and connecting and leveraging those different programs. And certainly for our fantastic faculty, the things that they do, and making sure that, you know, we're able to connect into each of those programs for the benefit and for the value of our students,
I just
and
want to
beyond.
Add one point is that all of my work comes under the tremendous support of the School of Social Work and the leadership of Dr. Osbrooks, our previous director, Dr. Cole, who helped really spearhead the space and the partnership. And so the School of Social Work really is committed to having a footprint within the community and the university, and really promoting all of the things that we know are important for supporting health and well-being of communities. And so I forgot to mention that in the beginning, but I just want to make sure that our partnership is couched out of the School of Social Work.
Sure. And that's great. That's a good point in terms of our goal from the beginning has been to ensure that we are touching across all colleges at the university and many different areas. So thank you both. Really appreciate it. And we will welcome in our next guest, who is going to be Sean Bald. Bye-bye. Thank you to Dr. Travis and Dr. Cordero. We'll welcome in Sean. If you could unmask yourself. There you are. It's my great pleasure to introduce Sean Bald. He is the Chief Operating Officer at SimPulse. SimPulse is a startup company that's currently located at Star Park, which is the university's incubator and accelerator program. Thank you so much, Sean, for being with us today. Oops, Sean, you have mute on. I'm going to ask you to.
Are we there?
There we go. Yes, we've got volume now. So before we start talking about SimPulse, I know that you provided us with a little highlight video, and we're going to go ahead and play that now, and then I'll ask you a couple of questions in just a second. Right back to that.
Located in San Marcos, Texas, SimPulse is headquartered at the Science, Technology, and Advanced Research Park of Texas State University, where we are developing the next generation vital signs and health tracker for the future. From the battlefield to the civilian fields, SimPulse brings the power of a real-time mobile trending vital signs monitor in a miniature form factor. Once applied, the Halo device acquires the 5 major vital signs: cuffless blood pressure, pulse oximetry, heart rate, respiratory rate, and core body temperature, all visible on smart devices in a user-friendly format. While developed for triage, the flexibility of inherent design we have created allows for use in many different applications, in addition to the medical use case, from human performance optimization to virtual health. Additional features of GPS, heart rate variability, and a host of others can be added to customize for every industry.
SimPulse delivers transformative ubiquity. New medical-grade real-time data sitting on a platform designed for easy integration into existing hardware and software infrastructures. Initially developed with SEAL Team 4 to save lives, through offering a miniaturized remote vital signs monitor for field and clinical use, SimPulse is optimized for multiple other markets as well. like tracking and trending physiological data for elite teams to optimize performance, and enabling medical professionals to virtually interact with patients to ensure accurate vital signs and treatment.
SimPulse technology brings applications and benefits to many different sectors, including medical triage and patient monitoring in field and hospital settings, human performance optimization monitoring for athletes, and assisting both patients and medical providers in virtual health interactions. We view the future as an opportunity to save lives and enhance living. SimPulse. Every life counts.
Okay, there we have it. But I want to go back to your statement or what you were saying before we got the video on. So you were talking about the facilities out at Star Park, and then.
Yeah, absolutely. So the facilities were a big draw. The ability to have lab space, the ability to have office, the ability to grow, and then the second key issue for us was access to faculty. You saw some physiologists and trainers in that video. What you didn't see is some of the engineers that we work with. Again, leveraging the great talent that is here at the university to help us bring this to life. We have a hardware solution, but there's a lot of software behind it. And so, from hardware engineers to software engineers, there's a lot of work that goes into making this happen. And then the students are, in my view, critical. It's a great source of out-of-the-box thinking. It's a great source of kind of coming up with new approaches. We've hired dozens of interns. We've hired a couple of alumni in the 2 short years that we've been here.
That's great to hear. And I mean, I think that that's one of the things that we really, with the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, the idea of building that community, that ecosystem, so that we have grow more and more and can grow the resources that are available for companies to tap into, including our faculty, our students, our facilities, I'm gonna blush a little bit when you say the lab facilities, because I helped design the BSL2 labs out at Star Park, so I know that they're good, and I appreciate that you say that too. Your company is so unique, and that mission is so critical, particularly during a pandemic, for monitoring and triage. Can you describe some of the impacts that the pandemic and COVID has had, and any adjustments that you've had to make, or opportunities that you've been able to pursue because of it?
Yeah, so let me talk a little bit about that journey. We've been here 2 years. We were getting great traction. We've raised some outside money. We've won multiple awards in our time here, from Mass Challenge Texas to the Association of University Parks Innovation Award. We've won multiple grants, which is a great source of non-dilutive funding. And really, it's been a really, we had a model that we wanted to work towards. And, the people of Texas State, the facility at Star Park, has been a supportive journey, right? Being an entrepreneur can frequently be an isolating event. It's very, very hard work. You get very little time away from things. You get very, very focused in kind of execution. So it really is fabulous to have a community of other startups out here, and other people going through similar phases of the same journey, so that we can all better benchmark ourselves, learn from each other, and manage that. Certainly, we've all been hit by COVID-19. We were on something that we thought was pretty important. Our focus had been the military, and they actually did a study that said over half of our fatalities in Iraq and Afghanistan were potentially survivable. Just a gobsmacking number. So, we were really headed down that path, but as COVID approached, you could really see the focus start to shift. And, saving lives, being able to predict internal hemorrhaging, these were things that were now on the back burner of the vocabulary of many of my customers. So, we had to undertake a tremendous pivot and basically rewrote all of our grants, all of our pitches, all of our presentations and networking into COVID-19 support. We had to learn kind of how we manage the various disaster preparedness lanes and disaster response lanes. But we pivoted pretty dramatically. And, you know, through the accommodations of Star Park, we were able to kind of, you know, have a safe practice and draw down our resources, but we were able to kind of remain open and moving forward. And so through that process, you know, we, in the last 3 months, have won over $3 million in contracts to do COVID-19 support. So, I mean, it's been a very challenging time for a lot of people. And we were fortunate enough to find a way to make that pivot work and to try to support the community, which is what's really exciting. So whether it's the deaths on the battlefield or the COVID-19 or telemedicine, you know, I've had conversations with our congresspeople about rural healthcare, right? When I go to the doctor, they take my blood pressure, they take my temperature. In a telemedicine setting, in a rural healthcare setting, that may not be possible, right? But rural settings should have the same quality of healthcare that the urban environment has, and it can. Telemedicine's transformative for rural healthcare, but we can still do better. And so it's exciting to kind of continue that journey. We're super happy out here with our growth and what's coming out next.
That's fantastic to hear. And thank you so much for being with us today. You and SimPulse are just one of the amazing companies that Texas State is very lucky to be working with. And we're happy that you're out at Star Park. And it's really great to hear about your progress and your immense success. We only wish you, you know, great and beyond from here on out. So thank you so much.
It's exciting as we go forward together.
Exactly. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
And Sean was our last speaker for the day. So I would like to say thank you to everybody who was able to join us. We really truly are excited, and I hope you are able to get an idea of the scope of different programs and the range from the fundamentals all the way to being able to support new ventures and companies that need to scale their technology and are able to do that with some of the university's support and resources and interactions with our faculty and our students through an entity like the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Dan, would you like, do you have any?
Sure, I would like to just add a couple of comments. My thanks to everybody for this afternoon. It really is an extraordinary experience to listen to all the amazing work that goes on. I do want to add one thing that Sean didn't mention, but Sean, in addition to all his work at SimPulse, is heavily engaged in a lot of the work that we're all involved with, which is spreading innovation and entrepreneurship across Texas State. So Sean, thank you for that. And also, it's been an amazing Big Ideas Week. It's been extraordinary. None of which is possible without an incredible team, and they are hidden behind the scenes here, but working away. And so I did want to just take a moment to thank them for, you know, all the critical work that went on to make this week and certainly this day possible. And Shannon, thanks to you. It's great to be along your side, and I look forward to great things.
Thank you. And to everybody who is watching, while Dan and I may be leading this big idea and the effort behind the CIE, it's only possible because of the amazing faculty that have pioneered many of these programs and have driven them along for years. And only because we can help stand on your shoulders together and you know, be able to boost things forward as a whole. Is this really truly possible? So we appreciate all of the hard work and the effort everybody across the university has put into innovation and entrepreneurship over many, many years. So thank you, and we appreciate those efforts, and we are excited to be able to work with you and together. I'd also like to thank the University Federal Credit Union for sponsoring today's Big Idea Innovation and Entrepreneurship as part of the Big Idea Virtual Week. They have generously agreed to provide a $10,000 matching grant that will help support the new Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship as part of next week's charitable campaign called Step Up for State, which is going on October 7th through the 8th. So we really appreciate their support. We appreciate everybody who's on this call support. Reach out to us if you have any questions, and we look forward to all of the possibilities. And so hope you have a wonderful weekend. Eat 'em up, Bobcats. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody.